and
And
welcome
welcome to Woven Worlds.
to My name is Nkechi,
Liz, how are you
and
guys?
yeah, we hope you guys are well. There's going to be a bit of a delay, as you saw with the intro. just letting you in a little secret. We've been trying to practice that for at least 30,000 times, and we haven't got it right. So do bear with us whilst we are currently practicing social distancing.
Yeah,
You know, we you
trying to
guys
make
are
this work as much as
yeah, 2 meters apart. We're more than 2 meters apart, to be fair. So,
yeah.
we're following the rules, you know. But we
Of
do
course.
hope you guys aren't, completely tearing your hair out and, dying of boredom, you know.
Yeah, I mean there is quite a few activities that you can. Let's just think about. Let's be positive. Yeah. So there's quite a few activities you can do at home. Like you remember the games that we used to play before with the family, like board games. And I mean, not everybody fancy them, but
Yeah, that's if you can't. That's if you can only play them though if you know that you won't be able to. You won't like kill anyone. So just
there you go.
remember that whilst you're practicing social distancing, you can't actually go out anywhere to get that sort of like zen moment to just kind of bring yourself back after fighting with your family over Monopoly. So
No, yeah.
yeah, we can't play that at my house because we're very competitive and we end up fighting. So which is why we haven't played in literal years. So.
Yeah, well, there's also YouTube, so that's why we're here.
Yes. And by the way, guys, take this time out to whilst you're obviously, again, hoping you are practicing social distancing and self-isolation, check out our videos on our social media platforms. We'll make sure we add them in the link in the description box below.
Yeah.
So you won't be bored. There's only about, I think we've got about maybe 8 or 9 videos, give or take. Yeah. So we are entertainers at heart. We do take the mickey out of ourselves. So
We do.
entertain yourself by watching all of our videos and catching up with us and tell us how much you
Have you seen our video from our story time where we got lost in Australia? So you need to watch that as well.
Yeah, that's a popular one. Apparently, people were quite a fan of that one. So make sure that you are engaging with us. So you're not alone, because I think this is a very lonely time for people. So just make sure you're interacting with your family and your friends, and with us as well. So today we're going to talk about an issue that we find affects us a lot more than we'd like to admit, which is stress. So we found that it's almost elevated every single situation we've been in because of adulthood. Adulthood has a tendency to make you stressed out about, paying the bills, going to work, having fun at work, enjoying the career that you're in, having relationships, whether it be romantic, platonic, familial,
or even with your colleagues at work.
Yeah, which is also very important and
a stressful one, especially if when you're a person that likes to overthink things or are worried too much about what other people will say. And let's be honest, we all do. We all do.
It's the human aspect, yeah.
Little or not, we all do at some point. But yeah, basically, for people that are suffering with stress, it's quite difficult to concentrate. Like, for example, if you are doing any other task at home or you're trying to relax, you can, because you're thinking about, oh well, tomorrow I have to go to work, tomorrow I have to deal with this, tomorrow is gonna be a long day for me because I'm basically gonna have to deal with the other things, like other personal things that are going on through. Not
It's sucky because I was having a discussion with someone about this yesterday, and it feels like there's no like proper transition to help you manage stress when you are entering into adulthood. It's almost like you are given these milestones to achieve, and then like that's it, So you go to school, and then you go and do maybe your GCSEs, or you go to college or university, or you don't. Either way, your aim is to get a 9-to-5 job, 2.4 kids, settle down, get married, and then stay in a marriage where you are, somewhat happy, I guess. It's like, oh, I told this person, so it's like,
so
I'll
you
just stay with
have this list of requirements.
Yes. And it's difficult because ultimately, especially with the fast-paced world we're living in, there's always something that's going to sort of come in and disrupt that. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think given the current climate we're in right now, we are seeing how a lot of governments, not just nationally but internationally, as well as corporate businesses, are operating on a level of like selfishness. So they're basically showing their asses and understanding that, like, every single person, especially people who work in shops, like store clerks, people who are cleaners, people who are nurses, people who are considered like low skilled or unskilled workers, are actually very skilled workers because they keep everything going.
Of course, and also because they're like they serve the public basically, so they're public. They have to deal with the people. It's like that's their main role: deal with the customer, deal with the public.
Absolutely, and I feel like now those type of roles are beginning to be more respected. It's a shame that obviously with what's going on, it's had to go down this road. It should not really. People should have understanding and awareness that those roles are just as important as any other roles. Do you know what I mean? But thankfully, I guess people are beginning to wake up to those sort of old models, old ways of thinking, and understanding that these corporations don't actually care about any of us. They only care about the bottom dollar or bottom pound or whatever currency of country you're in. Yeah, so it's also understanding that obviously given the circumstances, the stress levels are ridiculously high.
Especially you work in a very demanding environment, like it demands a lot of you, or like it demands for you to be like there, present, be at your best, and also meet certain criteria or requirements at work that you have to not you can do your best, but you have to do.
Basically, this type of mindset is beginning to crumble because there's an understanding and awareness that it doesn't serve people at the end of the day. It only holds you hostage to be more stressed out and worrisome and anxious. So this is pretty much what we're going to talk about today, and how, ways in which we try and de-stress ourselves. And also, I think I also speak for Elizabeth when I say that we aren't always the best when it comes to dealing with stress.
No.
we find ways to avoid it and just be like, oh well, it's fine, we'll just kind of keep it on the back burner, and then suddenly
try to deal with it later.
And then it's like
back to you.
and then it's like, oh, and then it gets to like a point where it's like, oh, this is actually unbearable to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So we are not really lecturing people in our videos. We rarely ever do, because we are literally in the same boat as everyone else. We're just kind of like, I guess, being vulnerable and open and honest about our experiences when it comes to stress.
Yes, it's true. And also, I mean, there are ways that you can deal with stress. Some people like to go out with their friends. Some people like to just go out and do some sports outdoor. I like, for example, I like to meditate. I like to speak to my guide to be able to like kind of de-stress. And it's funny how sometimes it's like, what's happening today? Why do you feel like this? So it's like that's my way of kind of coping, because I don't think because I meditate not almost every day, but like maybe a few times a week, don't think that it's like, no, I don't suffer from stress. I do. Like, obviously I try to not let it get to me, or try not to let it like take the best out of me. That I think that's what I mean, like I said, we're humans. We're capable, we're able to feel that. It doesn't mean that we don't have to, or we can, or because you do this or because you do that, you must not be like suffering. Of course, everybody suffers from stress at some point in their lives, whether it's less, whether it's a lot.
It's finding ways, I guess, to deal with it, because like I said, with adulting, it just feels like it gets so much harder. And if you, like Liz and I, are doing the work, as in like, you know, be more emotionally intelligent, working through stuff from our past, and just being more spiritually inclined to, I guess, be more focused in a way that benefits us in the long run.
Yeah.
That stress can almost like amplify everything else. The stress of working through your trauma, working through the stuff that affected you, working through everyday stuff, it can affect everything else that comes with life. So it's hard. So on top of that, it's also, you have to deal with adulting as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm trying to, you know, parent my inner child, whilst also figuring out how I'm going to pay the bills.
You don't untie your knots from the roots, then it will be like keep building up. So everything will trigger you. So everything you see maybe in others will trigger you, and you will become like stressed. You will become maybe resentful or that. And obviously, like we said, it's okay to have these feelings. It's not like you don't have to deny them, but what's the root, what's the source of it, so you can get back to it and try and heal that part of you. So like my soul sister was saying, just parent your inner child, basically. Try to heal your inner child.
Like a lot of people, I've noticed this in a lot of people, like I think it's a general thing, to be fair. A lot of the stuff that we can't handle as adults definitely comes from our experiences as children. And, you know, we're not really given the time to actually work on those issues. It's constantly like go. You need to pay these bills. You need to hang out with your friends. You need to have like a social life. You need to make sure your finances are in order. You need to clean your house. You need to just, you know, think about the future. And so you're overwhelmed before you even start, you know. And I'll just let you know now, healing is non-linear, and it's rough. It can be really just taxing in and of itself. I've been on that. Well, I think I've been on that journey for at least a decade or two. But it's over the past couple of years where the healing and the being proactive of taking care of myself mentally has like really, I guess, stripped away a lot of things that would have offered me comfort, but really it wasn't. It was just kind of, it was almost like a temporary feeling, you know. And that's part of the healing process, because it's stripping away all those those type of old models, that type of old way of thinking, and confronting shadow as well as light, you know.
Yeah, basically just deprogram yourself from all the old thinking, everything that basically no longer serves you and no longer adds to your well-being, to your growth as a human. And also some ways that people like to deal with stress. I mean, some of the ways are not exactly really good towards them. But we do understand, because obviously, like my soul sister was saying, there's not just the stress of coping with every day, but also with other things that might have happened in your life in the past. So that's why if you don't find the root or the source of the first problem, then it's gonna turn into this giant ball of everything, of all the problems and all the triggers and everything and all this trauma here that you're trying to deal with. So what, like for example, what I try to do with a few of the things that have happened to me in the past is trying to get back to them, seeing obviously why did it bother me, why does it bother me, why do I feel like this, what this person did to me. So basically go back to the scene. I know it's not nice and it doesn't feel good, because obviously you don't want to relive pain again. That's the thing that you want to do or would like to do. That's why some people don't really go back to that and just leave it there. Yeah. But then it affects you in your future, and like in your future decisions in life. So sometimes it's best to go back to it, to try to understand that and see, at the same time forgive yourself for not taking maybe the right decisions at that time, for allowing maybe that to happen. So then at least you will find some peace within yourself, so you can try to leave that behind, but for the good reasons and with a clear heart, that it will allow you to like create these new situations in your life that will bring you peace and not just triggers. Like obviously I try to not let it get to me, or try not to let it like take the best out of me. That I think that's what I mean, like I said, we're humans, we're capable, we're able to feel that. It doesn't mean that we don't have to, or we can, or because you do this or because you do that, you must not be like suffering. Of course everybody suffers from stress at some point in their lives, whether it's less, whether it's a lot.
It's finding ways, I guess, to deal with it, because like I said, with adulting, it just feels like it gets so much harder. And if you, like Liz and I, are doing the work, as in like, you know, be more emotionally intelligent, working through stuff from our past, and just being more spiritually inclined to, I guess, be more focused in a way that benefits us in the long run.
Yeah.
That stress can almost like amplify everything else. The stress of working through your trauma, working through the stuff that's affected you, working through everyday stuff, it can affect everything else that comes with life. So it's hard. So on top of that, it's also, you have to deal with adulting as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm trying to, you know, parent my inner child, whilst also figuring out how I'm going to pay the bills. Working through trauma, working through anything that kind of like triggers your stress, it can be quite daunting, but as long as the foundation of where you're working from has compassion and empathy, I think you'll be really, I think it will make the journey much more easier for you, because without it, you'll think, oh, well, I'm just so weak or I'm pathetic or this, that, and the third. And it's like, no, you're human.
Yeah.
That's it. Human, point blank period. There were certain things that probably happened to you that you had zero control over, you know, and you have to have the understanding and awareness. And you might have to even tell yourself that consistently for a long time, because sometimes we might forget that even with the parts of us that are healed, you know. So one thing I like to do when when I'm not like running away from it is also meditating. It's not it's I am a homebody, okay. Elizabeth knows this, my sister knows this. So, you know, I'll go out when I need to go out, okay. I'll, you know, go visit here, other family and friends, go to work, it's fine. But for the most part, I'm sitting my ass at home, you know, with ice cream or my food, you know, with me duvet and, you know, and my TV and my Wi-Fi, okay? Like, I'll be fine. As long as I have that, I'll be fine. But the problem with that is you kind of get a little bit too comfortable in sort of just being at home, and you need to sort of go out. So so during this time I've had to like literally have to force myself to just sit down and just check in with myself, you know. So just basically making sure that I'm like, my eyes are closed, or I'm concentrating on a spot, but usually my eyes are closed, and I'm just allowing spirit to take over and allow my mind to go where it needs to, and not like sort of forcing it, you know. I think that's one thing with the myth about meditation, where it's like, oh, well, I have to think about something or I have to do something. It's like, no, you don't have to do anything. You can just sit there and just whatever comes to your mind, let it just unfold as it needs to. There's no pressure.
If your purpose is just like to try to calm your mind, obviously, like she was saying, just try to let the thoughts and everything flow and go. But at the same time, what helps also to quiet the mind is if you focus on an image, or you focus, your concentration goes somewhere, but that is not like maybe on your breath when you meditate. So at least you like go back to that, and it's like you become more peaceful and tranquil while trying to do that. And obviously it's not like from the minute to the next that you are like, yay, I meditated, because to be fair, like at the beginning when I was started to meditate, it was not easy. It was not easy at all. But with time, it gets better.
Yeah. Oh, practice makes perfect.
So some of the things that you can do to release stress, it's best that you do activities that make you feel relaxed, like to you, for example, sports, or go out in nature. And not everybody relax going out, that's understandable, because obviously, especially with everything that's happening now. But there are other ways to feel relaxed as well. So doing sports, that can be done at home as well. So that's one of the things you can do. Like my soul sister was saying, like also there are some movies that you can distract yourself with at home. Well, for now, at least for what's happening now, we need to be like basically mostly at home. So we cannot, at the moment, we cannot exactly go outdoors yet, but we will soon. We will. And another thing is like try to focus more on, basically, I know this is not exactly easy, because especially if you're living in, or you work in, or are in an environment where people are not exactly very kind or not very patient or empathetic with you or something. So it can be difficult to not like care about what they think or what they say sometimes. But if you just try to focus more with just yourself. So basically, if you just try to focus more on yourself, on how you feel, on what you did today, try to, like my soul sister was saying in another video, it's just talk to yourself as if it was your best friend, but that you listen to, that you pat on the shoulder, like you did well today. So if you try to focus more on yourself and less on what the rest of everybody else will say, think, or feel, if you do, if you move, if you dress, if you no, that's gonna put more load on top of you. So just try to focus more about how you feel. So make yourself feel better, treat yourself well, compliment yourself. Like, I know that doesn't happen that often because we like to think like, oh well, I know this person did better than me, I know this person thinks better than me, I know this feels so yeah, if we just try to be more kind to ourselves, then we will relieve that part, that some of that stress that we already have on our shoulders from people, from society, from how you must feel, think, or do. So that's part of my advice.
You know, it's only recently where I found that, you know, being in a toxic, incredibly toxic working environment can have an adverse effect on your health. I won't go into details, but basically, like, I have eczema. Okay, I've had it since I was a baby, and you know, I only get it on, like, I don't know if you can see it, but like on my arm, right? I only get it there and on the other arm as well, right? I never get it on my neck. I never get it on my neck. The only time I get it on my neck is if, like, I've worn cheap jewelry in the sun and it's like giving me a rash. That's probably it. But being in that toxic working environment had an adverse effect on my health because I wasn't happy in that environment. It made me literally sick being there. And so taking a step back from there, it's made me realize that, like, you know, I need to switch things up and be more proactive about, first of all, not ignoring, like, stuff when it happens, because that's one thing I'm very good at doing. Like I was saying before, I'm very good at, like, just being like, no, I'll just, like, deal with it later. And then it's like, no, it needs to be dealt with now, because the thing is with stress is it manifests itself emotionally but also physiologically when it's not dealt with. So that's how my eczema basically was literally around my throat, because I wasn't talking. It was literally telling me, like, you aren't speaking up. You aren't speaking up for yourself. You're not speaking your truth. You're allowing too many people to move mad to you. And you know very well that, like, if this was your friend, say for example my soul sister Elizabeth, and when she was telling me the stuff that I was dealing with, if she came up to me and said the same things, I would have been like, leave that place, leave those people, they don't deserve you, you're like a queen, like, what are you talking about, you know? And so I had to give myself that pep talk, because it was very easy for me. It's very easy for me to do that. It's very easy for me to be like, yeah, let's be kind and caring towards other people, and then, like, mean to myself, you know? So yeah, so I just feel like it's imperative to once you trigger, once you notice, like, a shift in your mood, and you feel like you become more aware of things that might be making you upset, deal with it right there and then. I've been dealing with this now for like 3 months. Thankfully, around my neck, it's not as bad. It's actually, the rash is actually gone. It's just like the scars fading now. I'll always probably have it on my arms, but it was nowhere near. It was usually like quite small. It's usually like from like there to there. Now beforehand, it was like from here to here. You know, it was large, because that's how my eczema type kind of like comes, like, thick and fast. It's usually through stress. It's rarely through, you know, I could be changing my diet, but I'm not going to give up dairy. I'm sorry, not. Well, maybe one day. But anyway, the point is, the main reason was stress. And I can't stress enough, for lack of a better word, that you need to give yourself the time and space to approach every single situation you're in, so that you don't get into the situation I was in, because that can just worsen the effect, you know. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to add that from what Elizabeth was saying. So one thing I would suggest you do is a good old pamper day, okay? So that can be, you know, getting a good old foot mask or a mani pedi. Obviously, given the situation, you can't go out and give and you know go to like your local nail salon and you know spruce yourself up. So you know again hit YouTube, because these girls out here that will show you exactly how you can have your nails and toenails, your fingernails and toenails, all the nails popping. You know, same with making you know facial masks or buying them from your local stores. You know, just really like pampering yourself and showing yourself love. You know, like Elizabeth was saying before about how you know you should talk to yourself in a loving, caring manner. Treating yourself like in a loving, caring manner is just as important as well, because you know you need to basically put yourself first, and if that's selfish, then so be it, because you can't function properly as a human being until you are taking care of yourself, and that means that you sometimes need to take a step back and be like, okay, let me go and figure out if I can, you know, maybe, you know, have 15 minutes to myself, put a mask on, put some, I don't know, some meditation music on, and just like drift away. You know, that's how a lot of these facial masks work. You need to be literally like just de-stressing. You can't be, you know, doing 15 things at the same time, chatting to people and then watching TV and then, you know, on a conference call or whatever. Like, no. A few years ago, I can't remember where I read it, maybe in one of these, women magazines or something. But if you do have a garden, and you are fortunate to have one, go out onto the grass and walk barefoot. That's really good for like connecting to nature and really grounding yourself. You're literally grounding yourself because you're connecting to the soil underneath your feet, the grass, you're feeling it underneath your feet. There's something about being connected to nature in that type of way that makes you feel so much better. And don't just take it from me. I think there's been quite a few studies around it. So hopefully once this whole situation is over, you can head to the park and, you know, walk around in a specific area barefoot. Don't just be walking willy-nilly, because we can't take responsibility for you if you get cut or, you know, God forbid something happens. you get caught on your foot and then you get sepsis and then something happens. God forbid. We don't want that to happen. So just be careful if you're going to like a park or even in your garden. Just be wary of where you're treading. But I found doing that as early in the morning as possible when it's just quiet and the birds are just tweeting away and everything's just silent and calm and serene, and just walking around and barefoot in your garden. I just feel like that just brings you back literally down to earth, because sometimes we're so full and you know, within our heads that we feel like, oh, we have to do this, that, and the third, and you know, oh, I've got so many things to do. And then just being in that moment, you have to proactively just take a breath
on the present, just take on your current moment, just be in the now.
Being present, that is so important, because that will help you to be less stressed out, you know. So
not to be stuck too much in the past, neither the future, because you don't know. I mean, the past is already gone, but the future, who knows?
It doesn't have to be like this negative experience. You don't know, you know. So you know, I don't know that given the circumstances we're under right now, It's not easy. So just do the best with what you have and with where you're at. Okay. So just don't put so much pressure on yourself. I know it's easy said than done.
People obviously get overwhelmed by the news, especially if it's world news, what's happening. And it's understanding. I mean, with everything, especially now, what's happening, people get more stressed, more anxious. So if you do feel like that, just avoid the news in the meantime. Just at least try to or at least for a moment, for some time, just stop it, because it's not. I mean, not that we're trying to tell you that no, isolate yourself from the news. Don't ever watch the news. No, yeah, of course you have to be aware of what's happening in the world. But if it does affect you so much, then just put a pause on that and just leave it for now. And then you'll get back to it when you're feeling more calm. But try not to get it overwhelm you, because it's terrible that some of the news are really not exactly what's really happening. Some of them they're over exaggerating. I'm not saying that everything is over exaggerating. Some of them they tend to, and that instead of informing people, they scare people more.
Yeah, and they know they're doing it and they don't care, because it brings in the viewers and it helps them generate a lot of money. So just be wary, guys. Just take it, like, honestly, we just want to make sure that you guys are as safe as possible. So just taking the time out, even just to put your phone down, just to stay away from social media. Do you know what I mean? You can come and say hi to us if you want. You don't have to, but ultimately, your mental health and well-being is so important to us, because our mental health and well-being is important to us. Do you know what I mean? So, like we said, this is about weaving worlds together. You know, we are all in this together. I think that's from High School Musical. So another song you should watch, because it's really good.
We hope you like this video. If you like it, please just, I don't know why I don't get the word like. Like, subscribe, and share it with.
So we got on Instagram, it's at Woven Worlds 1, and I think on Twitter as well. I'm sorry, guys, I keep forgetting this. So I think ultimately, if you look for Woven Worlds on Tumblr, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, you'll find us there. Okay, it might be Woven Worlds 1, but either way, just check the description box, because that's where it'll be. You know. So yeah, and okay, I don't know why, but like, you know, part of adulting, like we said before, is about, you know, self-care, and part of that self-care is taking care of ourselves, right? So we just need you guys to actually wash your hands a bit more than you've been doing, because some of you, for whatever reason, haven't been doing it, and quite frankly, we're disgusted. We don't know why, you know. At your big age, really, you haven't been washing your hands. And, you know, sometimes do it for more than 20 seconds. You know, just get in there, do the whole, you know, this and that, and, you know, the thumbs, and the, you know, the fingernails, and the wrist, and the middle of the palm. You know what I mean? Just be thorough, because that's how we're going to get through this. Because some of you, for whatever reason, have not been washing your hands, and quite frankly, I am disgusted. You know, so, but yeah, besides that, you know, obviously that should be a given. Take care of yourselves. Come interact with us when you're not overwhelmed with social media, and just take care of yourselves, guys. We're going to get through this together. We just have to not really, you know, feel so overwhelmed with everything. Just be mindful of the information you're taking in. You know?
Be aware of everything. Obviously, we don't ask you to not to take it seriously. Do take it seriously, but be aware and conscious with everything that's happening. And thank you so much for your time. If you have reached to the end, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, if you reached to the end, like, send us a flame emoji.
A what emoji?
Lame.
Lame. Just send us a heart emoji.
Flame and heart emoji. Like, yeah, I'm a. Oh no, a whale. Send us a globe emoji.
A globe emoji. There you go. And you can send us your not your location, just the country. Like you're saying hi to us. Don't send the location, just the country. Like, oh, I'm watching you from I don't know, Australia. And I'm like, yeah. We're going back there.
Yeah.
But
we are going to go. Yeah.
Yes. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time. Take care, and we'll see you on our next video.